Hello, my name is Mike Carter, and let's talk a little bit about ham or amateur radio. Amateur radio is a popular hobby service that brings people, electronics, and communication together. People use ham radio to talk across the county, around the world, and even into space, all without internet or cell phones. It's fun, social, educational, and can be a lifeline during times of need. Amateur radios come from all walks of life. You have doctors, students, kids, politicians, truck drivers, movie stars, missionaries, and even your average neighbor next door. They are of all ages, sexes, income levels, and nationalities. Universal appeal. There are hams who have only a very basic knowledge of radio and electronics, all the way to people who are communications technicians and actually build their own radios. There are even hams on the International Space Station who use ham radio to talk to school children. Every time that they send up new astronauts, one of them is always a ham radio operator. What's the appeal of ham radio? You can communicate from the top of a mountain, your home, or behind the wheel of your car without relying on the internet or a cell phone network. In times of disaster, when regular communication channels fail, and that's your cell phone, landline phone, and internet, hams can swing into action and assist emergency communications efforts and working with public service agencies. The amateur radio service in Mendocino County provided communications capabilities for hospitals and medical facilities, and also for shelters when the Redwood Complex fire disrupted normal telephone and internet service for almost 3 days. Ham radio can be a lifeline in emergencies. The Federal Communications, the FCC, created this service to fill a need for a pool of experts who could provide backup during emergencies. In addition, the FCC acknowledged the ability of hams to advance the communications and technical skills of radio and to enhance international goodwill. As I said before, you have hams who can actually build radios. We have a lot of hams who do experimental communications using radios and actually advance the state of radio communications throughout the world. There are 3 levels of license that give you increased capabilities at each level. The basic license is for short-range voice and digital radio. The general license is for short and long-range voice, digital and Morse code, and the advanced amateur are all modes and frequencies on the ham radio spectrum. Why do you need a license? The basic license is all you need to have to use short-range radio bands and talk to local hams. Licenses are issued for 10 years and may be upgraded at any time. The use of a ham radio without a license can cause you to have fines of up to $25,000. How much does a license cost? The basic study materials for passing the FCC and getting your initial license usually costs less than $40. The cost to actually take the test is currently $15. In Mendocino County, we offer free classes every spring, and they're done by a group of the local ham radio operators. Or you can also self-study using materials online, or there are books that you can purchase that will help you to study how to get your basic, general, or advanced licenses. Once you have your first license, most hams start with simple equipment, and this grows over time. The usual cost for a handheld radio is less than $200, and that gets you start talking to other hams. You can also find used ham radio equipment at flea markets and on the internet And we actually have what we call a swap net every Thursday night on the ham radio bands here in Mendocino County, where people can search for or trade equipment that they already own. The ham radio has many bands that allow you to talk to other hams locally and internationally, depending on the radio type and your license level. If you have a basic license, you just have local radio communications. If you have a general or the advanced licenses, you can talk worldwide. Many of the ham radios allow you to listen, but not transmit on local police and fire frequencies. During the fires that we have going right now, I've been listening in on the CAL FIRE frequencies so that I know where they're dispatching fire trucks and where the fire is located, and I can relate that to my friends, family, and neighbors. In Mendocino County, we have a linked repeater system that allows you to communicate anywhere in the county and also portions of Lake County. It's a system of 5 repeaters that all talk to each other, and they're owned and maintained by the local ham radio operators. They're available for any ham to use. We have had people up here on vacation driving through Mendocino or Lake County, and they can get on those frequencies and talk to the local hams up here. Using the linked repeater system increases the distance a person can talk using a handheld or mobile unit. Most of the handheld units are fairly low power so that they don't have a lot of range, but by using them to connect with the repeater, you can talk anywhere in the county. There are also non-linked repeaters that are more area specific. You can use those at any time also. During an emergency, a fire, flood, or earthquake, ham radio operators can listen to the emergency services and determine the location, nature, and the scope of the disaster. Ham radio operators can share this information with other hams, with their local community to keep people informed about the incident. I have neighbors giving me calls all the time to find out where the smoke is coming from and where the fire is. Hams can also be asked to volunteer to assist when the normal forms of communications are disrupted. When that happens, the countywide repeater system is used by the Office of Emergency Services, and hams have to use other ways to transmit their traffic. That's one of the reasons why we have the standalone repeater system. When the countywide repeaters are being used, use the standalone systems, or you can even do messages station to station. I can pass a message from where I live in Laytonville to someone who's in Willits. That person in Willits can pass it to someone who's in Fort Bragg. The person in Fort Bragg can pass it to somebody who lives in Point Arena, and we pass messages that way. There are many modes which include voice, digital messaging, Morse code, and there's even a method where you can send email directly via a radio when the internet is down. Radio equipment. Your basic mobile radio for use in your home vehicle. That's what is shown on the top right of the screen. You will also need a speaker and an antenna, and if you want to use it in your house, you need a 12-volt power supply. Almost all ham radio equipment runs on 12 volt because it's designed to be used in vehicles. You can also get the portable handheld battery-powered radio, which is shown on the lower right of the screen. How much do they cost? A basic battery-powered handheld 2-meter radio can be between $150 and $200. That's a good initial radio which will allow basic communications, but the range is limited due to its power. Those radios normally run a maximum of 5 watts so that they have a very light power supply and it doesn't drain the battery. For mobile communications, a basic radio antenna and speaker will cost approximately $200. Those operate directly off the vehicle electronic system because they're 12-volt radios. Better equipment will cost more, so the amount you spend is up to you. This is not an really cheap hobby. It can cost a lot of money if you have the money that you want to spend on it. What's the best way to learn about amateur radio? The best way is to talk to another ham face to face. Hams take pride in their ability to teach newcomers the ropes and get started in the hobby. Now, you'll see the word Elmer. A long time ago, there was a ham by the name of Elmer who helped people. And over time, people would start asking, who's your Elmer? Who is assisting you? It's basically a radio mentor. One of the other places you can look is the Amateur Radio Relay League website. That's at http://www.arrl.org/home. The Amateur Radio Relay League is the national organization for all ham radio operators. If you have any questions at all, you can normally go on that website. And if you can't find the answer on there, you can find how to contact somebody who knows the answer. One of the other places you can go is the Willits Amateur Radio Society. The WARS website at http://w6mm.club/index.html. Although it's called the Willits Amateur Radio Society, we have members from all across Mendocino County and even Lake County that are part of the club. Or if you desire more information, you can contact me at mgmcarter@outlook.com. So, amateur radio is an interesting hobby that allows you to communicate with other hams in the county and with the appropriate license worldwide. It also provides a means to remain informed in emergencies and also to provide emergency assistance when necessary.